So if you're new to consulting and you're branching out on your own, I've got a simple message for you. Don't take on all the clients that approach you. I'll explain why coming right up. So it's a very common mistake, I think, for people starting up their own consulting business. I know, I've been there. It might have been 30 years ago. But you start up this new entity, you're eager, you want to get out there and start helping clients, you're desperate for cash flow, you've got to start getting some sales, and you'll take whatever client comes through the door. Don't. At least pause and listen to what I've got to say first. It's so tempting to take on everybody, but it is really a bit of a mistake. So what are some of the things that you need to consider? Absolutely, first off, and I'm not trying to discourage you from taking on clients here. I want you to take on the right clients so that you can be successful. So one of the things to consider first of all is, can you help them? I know this might be a very obvious question, but even now, 30 years later, I get potential clients approaching me and saying, oh, look, we need this, can you help us? And I can't always. I mean, okay, I've been doing this for 30 years. I've got a team of consultants around me, 30-odd consultants, but we can't help everybody with everything. There's going to be some things which are not within our field of expertise. There can be all manner of reasons why we can't help a particular client. We don't do that kind of thing. So, please consider that when you're starting out. When that client first comes to you and they're asking for your help, are they asking you for help with something that you, hand on heart, know that 100%, well, 99%, that you can help them fix this issue? So if you don't, if you take on stuff and you think, oh, I'm sure we can do it, we'll learn it as we go, you're going to end up in trouble. You're going to be spending a lot of time wasted on this project because you're learning how to fix the problem because you don't have the experience to do it. The client's going to get upset with you. It's not a good ending. So if you can help them, by all means. The second thing, and this is going to sound a little bit mercenary, but hey, we're in consulting to make a living. It's our job. It's the way we make money. Can they afford you? That can be another reason that I decline some clients. We get quite a few sort of startups joining us. And let me temper this a little bit, because I don't want to sound so arrogant that, oh, you can't afford us. But the reality is small businesses really can't afford to pay the sort of consulting fees that we charge. And we need to charge those because we have highly experienced consultants who cost quite a bit. We've got overheads, all that kind of stuff. So there's kind of a limit, we've got to charge at least a certain rate. And for some small businesses, that's going to be a bit of a struggle for them. So what I generally do, and I don't kind of reject people out of hand, what I'll generally do is I'll have a talk to them. Most of these introductory meetings are online, so I'm not sort of in traffic for hours and all that kind of stuff. It's just a little bit of my time. I'll have an online meeting with them. I've got one coming up actually next week, which is a small company, $2 million turnover. I mean, the solution that we would provide to help them with their problem is going to be way out of their budget. What am I going to do? I'm going to have a chat with them, give them a few tips, see if I can give them some pointers and at least help them out. There'll be no charge for that. It's probably unlikely that we will offer them, formal consulting support. So what am I trying to say here? Make sure that you're building your business with clients that can afford to use your services. So generally, that's going to mean the slightly larger ones, but it doesn't mean you can't help out the smaller ones. If you're not busy, help them out with a bit of free advice or whatever. But if you're going to be building a new consulting business, you want to build it on a good platform of clients who really need your services. You know that you can help them and that they're sort of big enough to be able to afford your services on an ongoing basis. The third thing I would say, in your desperation to get your first clients, are they going to be easy to work with? This one's a little bit harder and it comes with experience. So you've got a new client, potential client approach you, they want some help with this, yep, we can do it, looks like they can afford it. But are they the sort of people that it's going to be easy to work with? This is quite difficult and I sometimes still get this wrong. It's kind of a sixth sense in a way. Let me give you some, actually at the end of this video I'll put a link to, I forget the exact title of it, but it's red flags to look for with new clients. And one of those things is they're kind of desperate for help, they want it done really quickly, they're not quite sure exactly what they want, but it's something like this, you know, so it's a bit unclear, it's all a rush. You get that sense that they're going to be very demanding. Those sort of clients can be quite hard to work for, and you could end up spending a lot of excess time looking after them, you know, really stressed out and that kind of thing. Again, not the sort of clients that you want long term. What sort of clients do you want? Let's flip that. If I look at some of my best clients over the last 30 years, and most of those have been with me for 10 years plus. The only reason they tend to drop off is that they may leave a company and go somewhere else, but then they kind of pop up later. I mean, I'm based in Australia. I did have a client ring me a couple of years ago and said, oh, you know, this is John Smith, remember me? And I said, oh, yeah, you work for that food company down in Melbourne. He said, yeah, I'm now with a food company in Perth. You remember what we did there? And I said, yeah, we did that. He said, can you come and do it for us here over in Perth? So again, that illustrates the value of maintaining those great client relationships, because they might leave the particular client company, but they're going to pop up somewhere else and you're going to win a new client in that way. So, you know, those, I'm sort of digressing a little bit, but if I think about those really great clients, they're easy to work with, they're fair, they're reasonable, they're very professional in the way they approach their business, in the way they work with us. They're kind of relaxed to work with, but very professional. You know, it's that nice balance. They're not overly demanding, they're very collaborative. Those sort of clients are like gold, and those are the ones that you want to build those long-term relationships with. So, things to think about, you know, in those early days when you're trying to win those first clients. Can you actually help them? Make sure you can. Can they afford you? And are they going to be relatively easy to work with? You know, I just to kind of wrap this up, don't necessarily think that good clients are always the big ones. If I think over the, you know, we do decline working with companies here at Logistics Bureau. Probably earlier this year, so in the last 2 or 3 months, we declined working with 2 very large multi-billion-dollar multinational companies. We just didn't feel that it was a good fit. We didn't feel that they were very transactional in the way that they were trying to hire consultants. We got the sense it was all about the price. It wasn't so much about, you know, the quality of the work and building a good relationship. And they just didn't feel like the sort of companies that would work well with us, that would be really good clients. And, you know, we weren't desperate for work. So we said, you know, sorry, we can't help you. So think of that, you know, as you're building your consulting business. It's a bit of a luxury at first, but as you're building that consulting business, you know, be true to yourself in the sort of work that you want to do, the sort of people you want to work with, and politely, you know, if you think that a client's not a good fit for you, then you don't have to take the work on. So I've got a note here on my last line on my notes. Consulting is hard enough, so spend your time doing what you know how to do for people who can afford it, and people who appreciate what you do. So I think those are the key things. So if that's been helpful, do hit like, do comment. I love to get comments. So, you know, I do answer all the comments myself. Do comment down below if you've got any questions. Do hit the like and do subscribe, because I do watch the subscriptions, and, you know, when the subscriber count sort of goes up a bit, I think, let's get out there and do some more videos. So it'll encourage me to share more. But thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye for now.